you want to see more fairness brought to the celebrity deathmatch
Well,
game.
well, here's a miss. This would be a mismatch, and I'd like to see it because they both have fighting. Tony Danza versus Joe Rogan, because they were the kind of the same guy for a long time, on TV sitcoms and stuff, and both boxers, you
That
know.
would be a bloodbath, dude.
But I hate Tony Danza, so I'd like to see that one. Again, your lighting kicks ass. I'm not even trying to be positive. I am right now. Just for this short
You're
little.
just a natural.
No, it's not. That's why I noticed it. It was like, what's weird about this? Is I meant it. It's this high content THC soda I'm drinking.
I've heard good things about the THC sodas.
Cup of positivity.
What is it?
It's a 75 milligram THC cola. And
I don't know how you guys.
How about this one? Check one, two.
Way better.
Check 1, 2, 3. All right.
That's
We'll have to do Shaylee. Sometime we'll do a just me and you. We'll try to figure out what's going on with that other mic, but I don't.
I don't expect you to remember, but when I first started using the Rode mic, I had like 3 weeks where we were three podcasts, which back then was 1.5 weeks. I was having issues trying to dial it in, and then I realized it was something I was doing in Skype. In my setup, I would have to go in and every time check the same things, and that's what did it.
What?
So
that is what I do because it's just I have a weird glitchy Skype because for some reason for me to not use the headphones when I test my audio, I have to set it to the Ars Technica headphones, hit the test button, and then switch it to default after it's already started, and then it'll work.
Yeah,
it's weird.
So yeah, it's just kind of the same.
What me and Chad like to get together like an hour before showtime and just kind of run a test and everything.
Easy, cocky. Your whole balcony could fall any second.
There's a couple of people we let into the green room to hang out as we do our sound checks.
little warm up.
I will say, Andy, I do appreciate your patience with me here as we work through some of these technical issues. It's really inspiring, and I do appreciate it.
I get that not everybody comes to the table with as many computer skills as me. I was I worked programming back in high school or whatever.
Andy, we couldn't hear you for the first half of the green room call.
Right. Yeah. Because I don't want to get here and have, it's why you smoke crack before you go into work or whatever, you're prepared. That's why you chew the coke while you're chew them leaves. Yeah, I had a trade of messages with Sean Hampton. Is that his last name?
Hampton, yeah.
I don't even remember.
Well, he wanted to, he goes, wanted to hang, do a call-in party or whatever. And then we decided on the night, and Chad happened to be there. So we hung out with some issues with Andy listeners.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I see what's happening here.
Yeah. We're doing
Shaylee,
camp.
you want to just go do it?
Hey,
Shaylee, you want to split?
This is the Barney Miller spin-off show, Fish. Remember how many episodes that went?
The worst part is the message I got said, hey, you don't want to let those guys, Erickson and Shaylee know, but I'm kind of intimidated or whatever. I don't really want to message them and ask them if they want to come on the thing. And I just kind of figured you guys didn't want to either. So
yeah, no, you guys can come in, but
You're right.
You guys are cool.
You were right, Chad. You were right.
100%.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have done it, but it's good to, me and Chad are ready to go. We've already done,
Yeah,
we've
no,
already
I
ran.
get it. You're ready to go.
You guys are coming out on the field with loose fitting gear and your helmet swinging. Yeah, we're already in the game, man.
Andy and I already have grass stains.
We got
Yeah.
a couple.
Andy's already rolled around Andy's already rolled around in the mud on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You guys just trade helmets. You're not getting in. Leave Coach alone. Coach has got to think up some shit.
Andy always has grass stains and mud, but never chalk line.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did have that. That was my biggest play, or I scored a touchdown, but the ref disagreed, and and it was a pointless situation, which is why I was in the game, and I caught a pass and rumbled and tumbled and scrambled and hit the pylon as I went out of bounds, and then the official called it no touchdown, and then I called him something. The game was over. I go, fuck you, or something like that, and he would have thrown a flag, but it would be like, to what, man? The game's over, bitch.
You fumbled a Hail Mary pass?
No, I got a touchdown. I scored
on the last play of the game.
Yeah,
on the last play of the game.
Yeah, and we were ahead by like 30 points. Basically the coach asked people.
Of course, that's why you were in.
We were in the victory formation, and I wanted a touchdown. So it was a short pass, and then my guy, it was like it's too bad it was late in the season, because I think that would have bumped me up. My junior year, I should have been playing more. Like, fuck yeah, man. And the coach afterwards,
not scoring a touchdown?
the coach who we later had a falling out a year later, but he goes, "Great job, Andrus. You scored a touchdown on that play." Fuck yeah, coach. But it officially, I don't have to even report it. I could say I scored a touchdown, and you won't be able to look it up in the history books.
You always have to read between the lines on Andy's stories to try to figure out what really happened. And I'm guessing they were up so high that they put the retarded kid in, and he was supposed to run it. And Andy stripped the ball from him and then ran it in for a touchdown. And everybody was mad at him. And he's like, "I scored a touchdown."
I did one of the other I didn't get the ball much, but one of the plays on kick receiving team, I got a squib kick and got hit couple times, and then I ran the wrong way for about 8 or 9 yards before I got tackled. Not by my own player. One of the dumb shits on the other team tackled me running the wrong direction. Good stick. Good hit, dude.
So he was as lost defensively as you were offensively.
Well, you get turned around.
Every team has an Andy.
Ball security was the main thing. And I locked into ball security. I just didn't worry about north and south. I didn't have a compass. You just, you get hit and your helmet's ringing and you just run. Run.
Oh, man. That's the footage we need. The old Coquille High School game tapes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think, I don't think they recorded much back in those days.
They're archived somewhere, like those gems of a losing season. I mean, this is the same school. This is the same school that did sawdust checks. There's no cameras. There's no one videotaping anything.
Yeah. All the teachers have body cameras, but they conveniently get turned off during recess.
Yeah.
Going out.
They used to have all those. They used to have all those videotapes in the library, but the teachers took turns walking in there with giant magnets. Erase all these.
We didn't do a lot of game film watching,
Shaylee, did you watch it?
I don't know, Chad, if we're friends anymore.
Yeah. We discussed this
because I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it, but
he lived it. Andy lived it.
Yeah, well,
not really.
That's why I didn't watch it. I didn't like the bent on it. I was like, oh, so now the victim is anyway. I read, but there's a thing on there that you Google that and it says, don't read this before watching this, and then I read that, and I was like, okay, I don't.
Wait, so you didn't watch it, but
No.
you like read the
I
Cliff
read the
Notes
synopsis.
version.
Yeah.
You read the Cliff
I was-
Notes version of a 30-minute movie.
I was triggered by that.
29.
That's perfect. I go.
It doesn't matter how long you get triggered for. It's like you can get triggered in a second, or you can sit through 2 hours of something and be triggered. But I knew if I watched that, it would have stirred up a lot of unpleasantness that I didn't need stirred up.
See, I don't know
can
what you
believe
read
that.
because well, and that's why even I kind of hinted at that. So I was hoping, part of it was a joke, but part of it kind of was like, maybe this is, I don't know.
You didn't
What
want
we're
to see.
talking about is the short film by Ari Aster called "The Strange Thing About the Johnsons" or something like that, and
Mhm.
it kind of turns the whole well, I don't want to say molestation, but it's more than that. It's incest and molestation and all that. It turns it upside down in a way that makes it uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Which I feel
Look,
like
it's
is
30
also
minutes
what.
long. Hang on a second. Hang on. It's 30 minutes long. All right. So we're going to talk about it right now. So here's what you do. If
There
you
you
haven't
go.
seen it yet, pause us and open up a new window and watch it. It's 30 minutes long.
Free on
Go
YouTube.
watch it. Yeah, it's free. It's on YouTube, and it's something else. So if you're interested, because from this point forward, spoilers.
And I didn't
All
even
right,
see it.
Cliff Notes. Just
Yeah.
Go in blind.
Well, but it'd be like when I went to see Saving Private Ryan. I was there, and it was like a matinee, and I was sitting there, and I realized I was like the youngest person there by 50 years or whatever. Like, there's a lot of old dudes sitting there, spaced out, watching that movie, and I could see, their look in their faces as I was watching it, and that's why I didn't watch that movie. Because I ran that beach, and I don't want it to. Because I feel like
Okay.
the theme of it is what I feel like is part of the sickness on the other end, where a pedophile actually believes that the kid's flirtatious and going after them, and that's all I got
That's not
from
what it was, Andy.
Really?
With all due respect.
No. Okay.
No.
Flip note.
No, that's not what it was.
Okay.
It wasn't. It
You
might, still
watched
might
it.
have been triggering. It still might have been triggering for you. So it was triggering for me, and I had a nice childhood. but we'll give you the synopsis if you want, Andy, and then if someone else. So here's what it is. So the movie starts off. The kid is 14 years old. He's in his bedroom and he's beating off. And his dad walks in on him and he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And then the dad comes back in and sits down and said, look, son, this is very natural what you're doing. There's no need to be ashamed of it. Everybody does it. We all do it. And this is about respecting boundaries and people having their space. So, don't be ashamed and don't worry about it. We've had the talk. We're good. And he leaves. And when he leaves, the kid uncrumples from his hand the picture he was looking at while he was beating off, and it's his dad shirtless. So then cut to 14 years later, it's the kid's wedding. The two families are getting their pictures taken, and it's all smiles. And then you see the kid, it's his wedding, reach down and grab the dad's ass cheek and give it a squeeze. And then from there, it just becomes he's completely an abuser. He's raping his dad relentlessly.
Well, the mom was looking for the dad at the reception, and every time you see the dad, like 14 years later, he's deer in the headlights. He's vacant, and she's she's glad handing everyone going through looking for him, and then she comes up to a white fence where there's just one hole in the middle of the fence, right at eye level, like someone wanted to create a peep show, right? And she looks through there, and just that look of like right before you're horrified, they're like, oh, this hole. What's the noise behind the fence? And she looks in there, and Sonny is basically taking down dad's pants, and dad's just standing there frozen like a scarecrow.
Well, all right. So it sounds funny. I thought it was a
Well,
kid.
it's
He's grown up.
funny.
If he's grown up,
I mean,
it's funny.
what it is it's the abuse story with the roles reversed. Instead of it's the child abusing the parent, and the wife is in the exact same role. She's an enabler. She knows what's going on, but she's afraid to upset the family dynamic, so she doesn't say anything, even going so far at the end of it, after the father either accidentally dies or kills himself, depending on how you think that went down. Then the mother takes the last copy of the dad's autobiography, because he's a famous writer, and tosses it in the fire, because he wrote the whole thing out. He was going to expose it all.
Cocoon
and she
Man.
tossed it in the fire and let the secret die, because she didn't, she was too ashamed to be a part of it all. So it all went back under at the end. It all stayed in the dark.
Really good, man.
It was
like the Catholic Church wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a real movie, but in 30 minutes. Like the production was good, the acting was good, the story was amazing, but it takes fucking 30 minutes, and you're like, I'm already done. That was pretty good. I felt really uncomfortable for fucking a long part of it. Dude,
that's a testament to his storytelling. And he was actually going to school at AFI when that happened, when he made that. That was a thesis project. So, I mean, this guy wasn't even a filmmaker. He was wanting to be a filmmaker, and this is one of the short stories that he did, which is, that's the thing, is like, I hated it. And like in the first 5 minutes, I was ready to just fire back at Chad. It's like, fuck you. What is this? Some fucking big dong gonna flip out and make disgust me. But it's like, I gave it a few more minutes and I'm like, I see. And then when I got to the end, I texted Erickson, read the comments, man. This is why 71 million people have voted for Trump. They can watch that and not get one bit of the irony and the storytelling and the like how obscene it is that people don't talk about this. They're saying, oh, this is gross. I can't believe I watched this. It's like, this happens all the time.
This is what it was like before, with the normal parents abusing the child situation. It was never talked about, right? Yeah. Now we talk about it. It's helping to solve the problem. It's like you have that same visceral reaction to what you're seeing as people did, 30, 40 years ago, hearing about pedophilia, because they just didn't think about it. It was not talked about. It didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like it was a trip, dude. It was.
Yeah. Now I feel like a baby for not watching.
As soon as I watched it, I was like, "Oh, I get it. This is Chad's payback for us talking politics all the time."
Exactly.
Like,
I genuinely thought it was decent and uncomfortable, but like not. Like you said, if you push through the first part, you're like, what the fuck? But then you understand, okay, he's flipping this on its head. And then but even so, like when he kicks in that bathroom door and the dad just screams bloody murder.
Yeah.
And then they have that cinematography where it's just the dad's hand on the edge of the tub. And then you see the son get out of the tub with his pants around his ankles, just soaking wet, and just slowly pull up his soaking wet pants and walk out.
Steps right into his trousers, all wet, and just pulled them up. Well done.
It was like
the mom's in the other room watching ER, and she just turns the volume up as the dad's just screaming in the bathroom while being violently raped.
Oh man.
While listening to like a self-help relaxation tape.
Yeah. He's listening to positive affirmations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a family classic. There's that South Park episode where Mr. Garrison went home to his dad, and he was upset at his dad because his dad never molested him. It's like, what was it about me that you didn't find attractive, Dad? That is fucking a twisted, a good fucking way to look at that whole thing. I was assuming it was I don't know. I just was afraid of the subject matter more once I read about it. It's like, hey, you know, it's some people have burnt their foot just testing the water with this one. Maybe I won't stick a whole foot in.
I did think about that after I sent the link for a second, and then I was like, it's Andy. We fucking made we cracked way fucking harder jokes on this.
I just remember the look on Chad's face after the mid evening or whenever he reemerged after doing the Molly in Death Valley, and that look on his face of grim fucking violence, whatever it was, and then I was like, wait, maybe Chad's remembering that, and he wants me to watch this just to fucking get revenge from the Molly situation. Remember that? Chad looked like he'd just been dragged out of a fucking twisted horror movie or something. He was just fucking people do that for fun.
Yeah, I'm not wired right for that drug.
Yeah.
He didn't get
Well, you don't know until you know.
Yeah, that's it. We know now. More
makes...
Molly for us.
Yeah.
We'll keep adjusting, making adjustments.
I don't take good notes on most things, but I have pharmaceutical like notes for about every less that, more of that, like Shaley like notes on the whole thing.
You've got a pharmaceutical memory.
Yeah, but I wipe it out with pharmaceuticals. Big pills don't want me free thinking.
Yeah, so that was my morning.
I told Jenny about it. I didn't make her watch it, but I told her about it, and then I told her, I texted everybody and told them to watch it, and she's like, "Why?" I go, I don't know. I don't want to be the only one having had watched that. I want everybody else to have had to watch it too. Since I
remember did anyone see the movie Happiness?
No, I never watched that.
Yes.
I went to see it.
Was that what's his name? Died of heroin.
No. Philip Seymour Hoffman. No,
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Was that him?
Oh, he was in it.
I want to say it's Ed Norton, isn't it?
No, the director of it's a sad sack with a twisted fucking mind, and I don't know. But the movie Happiness was a fucking crazy, weird, sexual stories, and one of them was a dad who was a pedophile, and then there was his kid. So his dad would drug kids who did overnighters with it, and then have sex with them. And so his kid, right before his dad's going to go to jail, ask him if he would basically, like, what's wrong with me, Dad? He goes, would you fuck me? I think he said that. The kid says that to the dad, and then the dad says, "No, I'd probably just jack off." And it was like that kind of movie. It was fucking dark as shit. And there was a couple times I was in this crowded theater watching this in Seattle, and I was the only person who laughed, but not at that situation. There was several different stories, but they were all fucking weird. Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think. He's in it, and I think he plays a guy who wants to calls up aggressive and torments a neighbor with sexual shit, and then when they meet, actually, and then he just sits there all impotent, like she wants, she has a rape fantasy and lets him into the apartment, and then he can't do it. It's like that. But there's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in cinema is when the pedophile dad goes to prison, and then the kid is jerking off watching a neighbor sunbathe, and you don't see him, but you see that you can tell he's masturbating, and he's watching a female neighbor, and in my head, at least, I was like, oh, he's gonna be all right then, 'cause he's not chasing after dad. But then they show the cum or whatever, it hits a rail and then drips down or goes down, and then a dog licks it up. I swear that happened in the movie. And I'm like, man, did I? I don't know.
I'm glad I'm not watching this movie.
Now.
Yeah, no, I think all that happened. Otherwise, I mean that movie twisted my mind so much that I came up with some alternate endings. But I swear that was
fan fiction.
there we go. This should be a trigger warning episode here. If you've been a victim or you're thinking about victimizing somebody, you might be careful with this one. Yeah. Fucking was It was it was the most painful and the movies like that, the fucking, how do you tell a kid, okay, here's what you're doing in the scene. But it was heartbreaking, you wanted the old man to go, you kind of were rooting for the kid, or the old man would go, yeah, I'll give you some attention or whatever. The kid just wanted attention, and that's it. Anyway, take the grandma, it's a good COVID conversation movie for your quarantine group.
I'm looking at it right now. Jeez.
Yeah, you got to see that one though. It's so dark, man. And I know that I read about the director. I forget what other movies he did. I never went to see another one of his movies.
You always know it's going to be fucked up when this is the blurb they write about it. The lives of several individuals intertwine as they go about their lives in their own unique ways. In other words, we have no fucking idea how to describe what this movie's about.
Hey, this will scare you if we tell you.
A group of comedians get in a van. A group of comedians get in a van and adventure ensues.
Our guest fell through for tonight, huh?
Jimmy?
No,
I don't know if he's gotten approval from the producer.
Yeah.
We should work on that. We shouldn't talk about it. Let's work on that. I want to see it.
Talk to her.
I'd like to see that happen, but because of who's controlling the bookings, there's nothing we can say about it. It has to go through the channels. But
we lose another sponsor, and we're back to handing out fucking sandwiches. I don't know how you'd make money doing that.
We might as well be doing podcasts for the Amish.
Yeah. Hey, we got another one.
That's actually a really good idea.
Right now we're turning up.
Wait. Let's focus on Chad's brilliant idea. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. What if you did a podcast that was like, it was like if the Amish legitimately did do podcasts, and you just like talked about barn raising and butter churning and the latest butter churning news. Yeah. And it was in every other way an absolutely normal podcast, but it was just Amish. I like it.
I love it.
Issues
Development on Issues with Abraham.
Issues with Ishmael.
All right, we'll workshop the name.
Yeah. We're churning butter this week.
We're just workshopping it now anyway, because we still have to find out. It might be just as hard as trying
an Amish podcast out there.
There is one called the Amish Furniture Insider, and there's one called the Amish Lifestyle Podcast.
How would they listen to it?
Real Amish Podcast.
Now this is the Amish.
Oh, here's one.
The thing about the Amish podcast.
The Gay Amish Podcast.
Well, with us, that's implied.
Amish comedians in wagons getting buttermilk. That's some fine buttermilk there, Abraham.
Real Amish Podcast.
The hardest job in the Amish podcast is being the guy that has to go from house to house telling it to everybody.
When's the new episode being delivered? Well, it'll be 4 days from what I gather with the weather.
I would rather.
I feel like I'm in the after hours mode already because me and Chad started early.
Oh, you've mentioned the other.
But it was
mentioned
just
the break podcast. I know.
But it's just them other guys we just had such a good flow with. Sean and everyone.
I understand. Look, Shaylee and I'll go work on the Amish thing. We'll have our own deal. It'll be fine. You guys can go hang out with Sean Hanson, your new best friend.
I need to start drinking earlier. That's all. It has nothing
That's
to do
on
with
you.
Yeah. Wow, what is that? Like a funeral procession?
It's a rush hour.
Won't nobody pass? Yeah.
No, they can't. There's no turn signals.
Yeah. We used to do it.
Going straight.
Maybe it's like
I mean, to be fair, those are mostly 1 horsepower. They're not going to go very fast.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry that
something I almost said. I'm
sorry that Chad's so proud of himself right now. That's what I'm sorry.
We've been close when I talked about my slope and back, and we've run up against it. But finally, we're going to get some Amish hate mail. We're stereotyping the Amish. You know, a lot of them aren't hard workers and don't have stern-looking wives.
Well, that's only on the Rumspringa.
Why do they have such stern-looking cunt-faced wives when they're doing everything in God's will? Relax, bitch. That's what I'd say if I was an Amish. I would say that all the time. Relax.
Andy,
relax,
I can't even imagine how long you would last if we plopped you down a la Witness, the movie with Harrison Ford, to just do a day's work.
Well, if you put me in a proper beard and gave me some proper eyebrows and the outfit, easy. I could probably fall into a real simple character.
What would they do? What do the Amish have? People like Andy in their community? Like if they have a barn raising, if there's a barn raising in Pennsylvania, do you have to have a guy whose job is to basically corral the Amish Andy and keep him away from the large posts that are being set? You know, like, right?
He's probably helping the ladies in the kitchen, delivering food to the boys.
I just watched one of those murder mystery shows, and it was about an Amish guy. And he was married. His wife had like 5 children. So they brought in another Amish chick from a different sect to come and help him out. And he convinced her. He had the women convinced he was not like a doctor or whatever, but he could fix their ailments. And he would ratchet strap their feet to one post and their hands to another. And he would stretch them. And then he told this one gal that came in to help him that her uterus was out of place. And he could fix it. And then he got her pregnant by fixing her uterus that was out of place.
That'll fix it.
She had to go somewhere else. So then he killed his wife. But it was so. I mean, there's guys like Andy, is what I'm saying.
Well, here's what I would do if I had to be undercover in an Amish community and was just presented as a new guy or whatever Amish. I would be polite, not say fucking anything. And then all of a sudden I would have a pronouncement that was like a Bible verse. And then I would go back to stone silent. That's how I get by. Because if I talked a lot, you know, if I let loose and smoked weed and started chatting.
Yeah,
like, hey,
that's
guys,
what I'm,
you know,
look.
You can't assume people are into what you're into, especially if they're Amish.
I feel you on that, dude.
That's the truth.
And I wasn't trying to criticize or belittle you in any way either, Andy. You're more man than me. It's just that you don't ever see anybody in an Amish barn raising situation being squirrely.
Oh,
you know, you don't see anybody just straight fucking around and being silly and, you know, doing like cartoonish shit where, like, you know, you're walking down the plank real fast and the board flies up on the other end.
Right. Well, that's
the Amish barn
that's for younger. Right. That's for younger Amish. I just drove down and I got slightly underpaid to help my brother Dave do some sheetrocking, and we had to lift it on top of 2 levels of the shit. So I had to hoist shit.
Andy, hold on a second.
I basically
where's your brother sheetrocking? Not his trailer.
No, different brother. Dave down there though.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was putting he's at a car porter. He needed my help, and then I would hoist it up there and hold it, and then he would find something that he needed to cut around. And considering how much we hit the vape pen or smoke weed or do what the fuck the shatter when we hit the shatter, he was pretty good on the saw and in the measurements and shit. But there were a few times where I had to hold that up a long time, to a point where I drove home. I don't think Tony likes me staying there. She came home and she goes, "So, what's your plans this evening?" Which, so I
she
guess
doesn't
I'll
want
just,
you there.
yeah, right.
That's,
So, but I went
be on the
home.
road by now. You got a long way to go.
But I helped with the work, and I had a nice lunch, and when we got the work done about 4 or 5, and then I got home, and I don't do much upper body man work or whatever, but I was like fucking beat, man. I was like I couldn't, and then the next morning I was like thinking of chucking off, and I was like, no, I'm gonna give it a day. And I went up and I had some Advil and went back to sleep.
Yeah.
So
sheetrock is heavy, man.
Yeah, and I did
Especially
it once
if you're doing
before
ceiling
with
work.
Big. You gotta they're hard to maneuver, and it hurts your back, and you gotta like hoist and then
and they'll snap if you do it wrong.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and he reminded me, I helped him do that before, years ago, and it was for a ceiling, and I did remember it, but I remember it through the Walmart woman being too large, and then you got to get a buddy over to help you sheetrock. And that was from that. I didn't remember the hard work of it, but I do remember I got a couple of lines for my comedy skit.
Wait a minute. So your sheetrocking experience with your brother Dave is what inspired you to write that bit about fucking a fat chick?
Yeah, well, it was a piece of it. It was, having a whole day of workman's like knowledge of sheetrocking. I knew that it was a shit job that you wouldn't want to fucking do again. So I declined, but here we are in COVID, and I'm looking for, if somebody said, hey, do you want to watch me club a baby seal? I'd probably get in my car and drive over to the coast. I wouldn't want to see what was going on. I'd just be like, yeah, it just gives me a chance to get out in the car and listen to a book on tape and not be accountable for a couple hours. So I did that, sheetrocked, and he kind of underpaid me. He goes, I don't have that much cash. And then he gave me a big kratom shake for the drive, which I don't like. It almost makes me puke, but I chugged it down because it gets you high. And then he gave me the $50 and then and some weed. That I was thinking, man. And then I heard the minimum wage was going to go up to 15. And like, wait, I was down there about 7 hours. That sandwich was about $6. I think I kind of got fucked. I think I kind of got fucked. Hey, something about the andrist. Like
right there is why Andy would not work out at the Amish barn raising. He'd be wandering around going, so where's the paymaster? Who's the guy paying?
Yeah. Well, look at those dudes, man. The kind of shit I do, I'm on my tippy toe. Like, yeah, you want big fucking the 6'5" with big fucking ape arms on them. And that's who you want to help sheetrock. If my brother and me have the same genetics. So don't fucking ask me to come over and help you do a job that neither of us are good, Fucking, don't you have a fucking ape-like armed friend? It's Coos Bay. Everybody's fucking gigantic mongoloid white trash, fucking big arms.
Who's the guy from town that smashed the car? Don't you want him to come over and help?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll bet John
come over and hold your feet.
I would like to know more because it's like I heard them and knew them stories and got punched in the chest by Paul, but it was like Paul Bunyan kind of. It's like a big drunk, retarded ask. We don't like that word no more, but he and I think John was a simpleton. He's a simpleton, not a anyway. But I would like to know what happened to him from 1985 on. He's still upright. He's still barrel chested, and he still dresses like he just got off of a logging crew. So I would love to know. I mean, I know he went up and alerted people that there was a fire and saved people because he was quoted in that. Oh, and I played football with him in like 1989. We had a alumni football games, and all his fucking white trash Coke heel guys, and and a bunch, and then we played the neighbor team we had a feud with. It was like fucking pathetic, you know. It's like, it's like, but I was still in the age range of being able to run, move, but there was a lot of people who were like, and there were some people who got fucked up knees and wings, It was something. I wish I could observe it now, because I was still young enough not to appreciate how fucking wonderful it was that a bunch of 38 to 50-year-old dudes were strapped up in gear to raise money for football uniforms or some shit, and they were playing. It was fucking wonderful.
Yeah. Can't you just write a check, somebody?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Do we have to go through this? Can't somebody just write a check and buy the uniforms? Do I have to put this on and go out there?
This would almost be like I almost should go back to Coke. I go back to Coke Heel, where there was a sporting goods store, and it's now considered a museum. But they have newspaper clippings, and it would be worth finding that newspaper clipping where John Lindgren was photographed hoisting his helmet in a victorious Coke Heel locker room. We won 2-0 on a safety, and I think he was quoted. I believe I'm right. He was quoted at something along the lines of, in 1977, 76, we lost at Myrtle Point and I cried. This year we won and I cried, or something like that. But it's like, it's fucking wonderful. Reality TV. If I was, pitch a show around the youthful John Lindgren, he fights. He fucking says politically incorrect stuff, but you can't understand him through the Copenhagen drip and stutter. And he was cross-eyed.
Oh man, I was gonna say that he's like the Oregon version of Al Bundy, but
sort of like if you brought Bigfoot in and you just shaved him up enough to, but he'd always wear a hickory shirt and Magnum PI like chest hair poking through that. I mean, that would be an interesting thing to get all the stories, because he used to beat people unconscious in bars, so you could do a folk song about him for sure. Big violent John. Yeah. And he probably would have worked his way into some sort of middle level fame if wrestling wasn't fake. But he went off to that and come back disillusioned because they wanted him to pull punches and he didn't get the concept. So there, wow.
He wanted to become a professional wrestler and he came back because he found out it was fake.
Well, that's maybe part of it, but maybe he just, he was too rough for the crew.
I think maybe it wasn't that he was disillusioned. He just really wanted to hurt people.
Right. He was, who he physically, it was like a small town Lyle Alzado. But I don't think anybody ever injected anything into Lindgren. I think it was all natural. Like, I think Lyle Alzado got more freakish as the years went by because he was a pioneer. Lyle
Alzado was like the fucking poster boy for fucking steroids.
Right, but he was so
steroid.
He didn't do them right. Lyle Alzado was just like he didn't listen to the science.
He went first.
He was chasing the high and the juice and the muscle, and at no point did he ever go off cycle, which even a fucking seasoned roid head with a protruding forehead and veins poking out his neck will say you have to take some breaks. Not Lyle Alzado.
Hell no.
But yeah, Lindgren was like a small town version of that guy. Better, a little less attractive, but
we should find him
with a Sarah Huckabee eye.
Still alive?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I would hope that would. Well, I would think COVID's looking for him. I would think COVID's
looking
around.
for him.
Yeah.
Here's Lyle Alzado fighting Ali in Denver.
Really? Wow.
You know anything about that, Erickson?
No, not at all.
I never knew that happen.
Oh, and we should probably mention, speaking of famous boxers that just died, Screech, Saved by the Bell, fought Arnold Horseshack from the
Oh,
Sweat
that's
Hogs
right.
and beat him unmercifully. And Horshack did not take it well. And you know, and then Screech became a comedian after. And did you ever run across Screech on the road?
I guess what you're saying then is that today Horseshack had his revenge.
Well, he stayed. Yeah, if he's alive,
He might not be.
Well,
Horseshack.
I never
they're
did
both
run
dead.
across Dustin Diamond on the road, but I saw his, I saw that he was playing at the same places I was. So
Yeah, he always followed
he was
us.
out there.
Was
He was out there playing shitty
was
gigs.
he the
dude.
first of shitty actors or actors?
I think he was. No, I think he came after. Mark Price was before him. I think that's his name.
Right. Yeah.
Skippy from Family
He should
Ties.
have fought Skippy.
Did it.
That should have been the next bet. He should have fought Skippy. Yeah, Skippy was, but yeah, Skippy wasn't a comic before, right?
No,
he just,
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably
And
I'll bet they had the same agent. It's like, you know, I can take care of you, Screech. I took care of Skippy and Boner.
Is that Horseshack? That's Horseshack and Dustin Diamond right there, right? Ron Lillo.
Yeah.
Horseshack looks like if Eminem had lymphoma.
Yeah. Or if Eminem wanted to
He looks
do
like a hungry.
have his brother.
It is a mismatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was they did some real shitty matches. You shouldn't put a guy who's 10 years older, shorter arms. No, look at that. It's like, of course, Dustin Diamond.
That's not
and then
fair.
Dustin Diamond is a piece of shit. God rest his soul. And he was fucking gloating, like, you know, he beat the shit out of Horseshack, and then he fucking gloated. You know, I was hoping fucking Freddie Boom Boom Washington would step in and kick ass. You know, Horseshack wasn't even the toughest sweat hog by like fucking Epstein could have kicked.
Epstein was, yeah.
Epstein would have been another mismatch. He was a little fucking short dude, but
Look
Freddie
at this matchup though. Can you guys see? Oh shit, you can't see in that picture.
Whoa, hey man, I see.
No, that's Horseshack's nipples were at the same height as Screech's belly button.
Yeah.
And
That's
another mismatch was Tanya Harding fighting Paula fucking Jones, and Paula Jones, the only thing she was known for was going up to a motel room and Bill Clinton pulled his dick out, in which she went to court and admitted that made her turn away. Well, when Tanya punched her in the face, Paula Jones, known for turning away, did the same thing. Like, Tanya's not going to stop punching you in your head just because you turned it around. You know, she's white. So they did shit like that where it was tough to get into it. I want to see celebrities that are equally matched beat the fuck out of each other, bloodbath. Fuck yeah, but I don't want to see a fucking a celebrity mismatch.
So you want to just
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so you just want to see more. You want to see more fairness brought to the celebrity deathmatch game.
Well, this would be a mismatch, and I'd like to see it because they both have fighting. Tony Danza versus Joe Rogan, because they were the same guy for a long time, you know, on TV sitcoms and stuff, and both boxers. You know,
that would be a bloodbath, dude.
No, but I hate Tony Danza, so I'd like to see that one. I don't know why.
That's a personal thing.
I don't hate Tony Danza.
What you got against Tony Danza,
I don't hate
man?
Tony Danza. I just think he was hey, I know. But and then did you watch him when he was a teacher? And it's like I don't.
Why do you?
I don't hate him. I'll take that back. I don't hate him. Unless I found out he was at the Capitol building, then I would be, oh, fuck Tony Danza. Yeah. Right now.
A picture of him beating a cop with an American flag. Hey, wait a minute.
I think why I didn't like him was his characters that he always played were always just positive. Taxi. Hey, what's your fucking deal, dude? I like him. I don't like Patrick Swayze.
trust issues, Andy. That's what it comes to. You don't trust his sunny disposition. There's something going on there that you want to know what's really under there.
Yeah. Well, nobody likes
who really is the boss, Tony Danza? Tell me that.
Yeah. I always wonder. I was attracted to the old lady in that show, not Judith Light, the old one right there. Yeah, she was always
Catherine
talking.
Hellman.
Well,
Catherine Hellman.
With sexy talk. She was a whore, she admitted.
She had a kind of sexy Nancy Pelosi vibe going on.
Right. She always had different dudes around, younger dudes. So
big jugs.
Yeah. And then I obviously sat through the show.
That's the lady from Soap.
Yeah. The Soap show, I'd like to revisit that because it was weird as shit, but I watched it as a kid, so it's probably funny, right?
That was great. Yeah, that Soap is the show that I remember watching with my mom and dad, and knowing that something was happening that I needed to know about. Like the way my parents laughed at that show and the jokes. I did get some of the jokes, but the jokes I didn't get, I'm like, oh, this is very subversive shit, Like,
put them down. Write it down in a notebook.
Something's going on.
I'm going to understand this sexual humor eventually. Yeah, I don't even remember the premise of that show, but I just remember a few of the characters, and definitely remember the old lady.
Well, Andy, let me tell you, the story revolves around a rich family, the Tates, and a blue-collar family, the Campbells. The story is mostly centered around crazy characters and sex. The escapades are as soapy as you can get. Divorce, homosexuality, adultery, kidnapping, organized crime, war flashbacks, custody battles, murder, and amnesia. 4 seasons, first aired in 1977, and final episode in 1981.
Shit, man.
Spin-off, Benson.
Really? Oh, yeah, I like Benson.
Yeah, Benson.
Not the same show at all, I imagine.
Billy, yes. A little bit different. He was working for the governor. He became the governor's daily right-hand man in Benson. Soap was also the introduction to Billy Crystal.
Oh,
we met a young Billy Crystal in Soap.
Yeah,
he was the gay character, Jody.
I liked Richard Mulligan.
Right,
he was fantastic.
Man,
that was a great
show. Like more talked about because that was groundbreaking. I mean,
now that could be our homework for next episode.
30
Soap to clear out the Johnsons movie.
Yeah.
So wait, before I forget, I don't know if we talked about this at the beginning. I did not realize until it was over, and it was like still shaken by what I saw. But thinking about it, and like Chad, like you said, like it was done really well. The acting was really, really solid, and it looked great. And it was edited like it was really well put together. And then I looked up the dude, and that's the guy who did Hereditary and Midsummer.
Yeah,
Midsummer that just came out. Like, Ari Aster. And it was pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, Soap will be a different experience.
Oh, I get it. Soap to cleanse it.
Yep.
I smoked a lot of weed. Just registering.
I think that might have been another one of Shaylee's accidental puns.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, right, we could have closed strong right there. We could have closed strong with that. That was a nice out point. Not that we guys
want to hear the. Do you guys want to hear the joke I wrote for "There's Something Strange About the Johnsons"?
Yeah.
Because if we were all going to have watched it, then we were going to talk about it, and this was the joke I was going to do. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Need a setup?
This is the movie that explains why black men are always abandoning their children.
That's good.
More like Black Wives Muted.
I did work on that line, so I felt like I needed to get it in there. I don't know if it's.
It's always worth throwing it out there.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, we
It's
can
not how
edit it. We can slide
But
it
I
in.
wasn't taking it. I wasn't taking it to the grave.
Oh, I gotta drink this
All right.
first.
It
I'm gonna
died on
chug
its own.
this. Yeah.
That is a fact.
Bury
I'm
it.
still glad I said it. I'm still
Yeah,
glad
you
I
gotta
said it.
say it. It's how you get rid of it.
No regrets.
If
I like
I'm
my
ever
horse
on
joke,
another, if I'm ever on another video podcast program in which something strange about the Johnsons comes up, I will be ready with that line. I can guarantee.
You got that in
So
your.
I
up
feel
your
good
sleeve.
about that.
Well, we're
feel happy.
YouTube influencers, so we can probably make the discussion happen. We throw out a hashtag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
If us, when something happens and they can say YouTuber dies. It's better than RiverTuber, but not by much.
Oh shit, that's Andy Andrus. You can send him money on Venmo at Andy Andrus.
Yeah.
And there's also his address if you want to just send him any little goodies in the mail. Sometimes people do that, and it's very nice. It's just very much of a pass the hat, tip the performer type of deal. That's all we're talking about right there.
I am a bit of a sweetheart swindler, but I'll explain that later.
Ooh, maybe we could touch on that on the Patreon.
Sweetheart Swindler. Patreon hour.
Yeah. All right. That's
I'm like for Patreon too. I gotta write it down.
He's reading his political papers.
Watching Chad just reminded me to not eat too much weed tonight.
Chad,
what's funny is that Chad for sure was sincerely saying that and doing that act, but it looked like someone who was mocking us. Well, just
he did that in earnest.
He's got a copy of the
Constitution.
Trying. He's got a copy of the Constitution and a highlighter pen right now. That's what he's working on.
You need the black Sharpie for crossing shit out.
Speaking of Chad.
Thank you, Shaylee. You led me right into that beautiful segue. Chad, right there, our good friend, has a Twitch channel you can subscribe to, and you can hang out with him and be there almost just as high as he is right now all the time, playing video games and just general fuckery. It's a good time. So subscribe to Chad's Twitch. And if you're looking for how to do that, jump on Twitter. It's the pinned tweet at HDFatty. So it's right there. It's very easy to do. And what we're going to do is make a drink and hop on over to the Patreon and keep going for a little while more. If you'd like to join us over there, it's patreon.com/issueswithandy. It's pretty $5 a month. It's nothing. Come on over. Shaylee, I feel like I missed a slide that you were showing while I was talking.
I don't even know if does Andy.
Oh.
Andy,
no. I moved 2 double XLs today and a large. So I moved. That's 3 in a day. And I sent one to Ted Cruz that Craig paid for.
Nice.
So I sent that off.
Nice.
A little note.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, he's a large.
You know what? That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. People could, if they wanted to, they could Venmo you the money for the T-shirt, and then in honor of someone, like, I'll give you $50 to have you send this T-shirt to. I want to buy this T-shirt for Dick Cheney, and then you can send Dick Cheney a Nature Jack T-shirt.
And I was going to send Ted the Nature Jack shirt, but then I thought, no, fuck him. He's scorched earth, and I happen to have that large that didn't fit Larry, so that.
Oh, okay, a used shirt.
Well, it was on my brother Larry. He's a constituent. He's a constituent.
So all right, that's it.
And then we'll talk about in the next Chad, what did you write down to talk about in the Patreon? You forgot already.
Sweetheart
Oh, my
Swindler.
God.
And Chad's got a story. Chad wrote it down. Don't worry, Shaylee. Chad wrote it
but I
down.
was just gonna say we got
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and then we got to set up the next happy hour. So and that's Patreon only. So we'll tease that a little too. That we got a happy hour coming up, and we'll lock that down as well.
All right.
That's fantastic. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we'll be right over there doing that. Thanks for being out there. Love you guys. Love you three guys. We'll see you.
Seacrest out.